want to be aware of if you buy or sell on eBay. I'm going to start this with a transaction that I had a little while.
Hello, full-time eBay reseller here, and I wanted to stitch this video. Hopefully the original creator sees it, but I understand they're dismayed. I've been selling on eBay for about 5 years now full-time. I sell a lot of different products, everything from plush all the way up to miscellaneous items. One of the bigger categories I have is electronics, as I sell used TV parts because people's TVs break. They need parts to repair those TVs, right? And so this is a big issue because a lot of times people will take a part. I had this happen recently. They'll take a part that I know is good. I don't have very good ways to prove that it works, right? Because it's not so much you can prove online. And they'll take their broken part and they'll return their broken part to me. And sometimes the serial numbers on these match. And then they'll open a case as item is not described, and then I end up having to refund them, right? So it's difficult. But back to what you're talking about, you don't have an option not to do free returns. You cannot. This has been known in the community for a while. If your storefront is as is, no returns accepted, you're asking to get basically profit loss. You have to accept returns. It is a reality of selling on eBay. And I know that a lot of people don't like that. But when you put no returns accepted, you are telling buyers, scam me. That's what you're telling them. When you put, though, the 30-day returns up, it does give you more pull. And I know it sounds like, in the way you word it is, that you're setting a trap. And the way they put it was they're setting a trap for people to scam them. You're not scamming people. You're protecting your store. Because if you receive too many negative reviews, you're going to lose your store. If you have too many returns that you don't resolve and eBay has to step in on cases, they will yank your store. That'll happen. So it is better to do the 30-day return and offer the option of a partial refund. What I usually tell buyers is, and also make sure you make the requirement. This should solve a lot of problems. Make the requirement that they have to return the item. Make that a requirement. Because yes, you may have to eat part of the shipping. I understand it costs. Believe me, I know. I run a very slim margin, profit margin store. So yes, it costs. But you'll have to work out other methods in your store, such as changing pricing on stuff to counteract that. But for me, about 90% of the time, when I make the requirement they have to return the item, the refund, the return case gets closed in my favor because they don't want to return the item. Or they're afraid they're going to get caught if they return a false item. Yes, in your case with the phone, the lady might return it. Maybe she won't. Some people do that to scam you. But once they're threatened with the fact that they don't return the item, they generally will not respond. The case closes and you keep the money. So there is a positive to this. And having the negative remarks removed is very important. If you get too many, your store will get shut down. It is not worth it to try to hold the hill of no returns as is. There's no such thing in online marketing anywhere. It's not a thing. It's not going to happen. Returns are a way of life now, and it happens. I know it sucks, but make sure that you're finding the cheapest ways to ship stuff to save yourself from part of that. Generally, though, my returns are very low, and I saw a lot of items that have high return rates on them, and I have people argue it. I did win a case recently against someone who falsely claimed that the item was broken. It took some fighting with eBay, but also keep in mind, you're not going to talk to anybody in the American side of eBay. You never will. You're generally going to be getting a hold of people in a foreign market talking from a script, and their ability to help you is extremely limited. So, but yeah, turn your returns on, have it there. It will discourage a lot of people because you'll find that people that try to scam specifically look for stores like yours that say the as is, no returns accepted. When I was doing that on mine, when I first started out, the amount of people trying to scam me was through the roof. Going over to the 30-day policy, 30-day returns accepted, essentially 30 days, no questions asked, must return item for refund. And I don't say full refund because it's at my discretion. Again, I can only refund them half the money, but they can't leave a negative review. You're not scamming them. You're basically charging them a restock fee. Think about that. If you're having to relist the item, that 50% you're saving or you're not having to refund is your shipping back. It is, you don't have to refund shipping. Keep that in mind. You're not required to refund shipping if you do that. You have more control when you automatically accept returns. This is longer, but you automatically have control when you accept returns that you can send them the shipping label automatically. That's how I do it. And then I will only refund them partially unless I deem that they need the full amount. But that way I'm recouping my shipping costs, a slight restocking fee, if you will, so I can get my item back out and hopefully it sells to somebody else. And I don't really have to adjust pricing too much. So there are things you can do to make this actually in your favor in a way that is legitimate and is not scummy or scammy. But if you're going to be in sales and you're going to be afraid to keep part of the money for a returned item because somebody returned it on false pretenses, you might have a problem with the selling. That might be the issue, is that you're not willing to do part of what it takes for that. And I'm sorry if it sounds rough, but that's the reality of it. No, it's not scamming. So I do lives frequently. I'll throw this out there. If you ever want to talk about resale, I'm all over the place in my live content. Feel free to hop in and make comments, and I'll be glad to discuss it. If you want to hop on a co-live, I'll be glad to discuss this. Just let me know. eBay selling is a nightmare. It sustained me for these 5 years, but it's a nightmare. So, but I'm willing to talk about that. I love interacting with other people. So anyway, for those of you that are not resellers, didn't know this, go watch her video. And for those that are resellers, please heed this advice. I really do recommend you do. But anyway, thanks for watching my video. And if you have any comments, leave them below.